నమస్కారం అండి. Prime9 ప్రేక్షకులందరికీ కూడా నమస్కారం. వెల్కమ్ టు మై షో పాయింట్ టు పాయింట్. ఇవాళ టుడే we are going to talk about very inspirational story, and this inspirational story should work for people who have everything in their realm, but still get depressed, get frustrated, whatnot. So this story we are going to talk about should give you all that inspiration required. So let me give you a brief background about whom we are going to talk and what are his achievements so far. Right? He's a person who has come from Mangalgiri to Mississippi, straight. Right? He's lost his parents when he was almost infant, but that did not stop him anywhere. He came straight from Mangalgiri to Mississippi. He's not just that coming to Mississippi, but he's also done a lot of good work in terms of his career, in terms of social aspects also. In terms of career, he will finish his PhD in next semester. Besides that, he's also a senior architect in cloud, AI/ML, and data science. Not just that, but he's also done a lot of publications. He's done journals which were published in Tech Bullion and New York Times. I'm sure everybody understands what New York Times and Tech Bullion is, right? So he's none other than Praveen Borra. Let us welcome him to my show, Point to Point. Namaskaram, Praveen. Namaskaram. Thank you for coming into our show. So like I was just talking about your journey, your background so far, that you have come from Mangalgiri to straight Mississippi with not having much of a background back in India, back home. And here you have done pretty good, as in, oh, by the way, I even forgot to mention that you were also an investor. You have invested in several of the things, several of the properties and whatnot. So help my viewers understand, how did you make this leap from Mangalgiri to Mississippi? So start from your childhood, explain us how your childhood was and what actually drove to achieve all this and what you have achieved today. What drove all that? Help us understand that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. First, thanks for having me. Thanks to Prime9 News Channel. So if I want to tell about myself, how I started my career when I was a kid. So I lost my mother when I was 1 year. That's what my grandma, she used to say that. And me and I had a brother, an older brother. So he's just 4 years older than me. And our hometown is Mangalgiri. And my father was there, but he was helpless because my mother was died. Then some of my relatives and my uncle and my aunt, cousin and uncle, so they all helped me, or helped me and my brother, they found a boarding school in Machilipatnam, which is a Finnish missionary school. So and they found so if they can keep us in that boarding school, and then we may have a better future, or maybe at least we can get a education, at least schooling. And then my brother started somewhere when he was in elementary. So I started my career in that boarding school when I was 4 years. If I remember, yeah, when I was 4 years in Machilipatnam. So all my elementary and the high school and intermediate, and I just finished in that school. So I was all the schools in Machilipatnam, elementary and high school. So the boarding school, they had a hostel and also they had a school. So I spent all my school life there. And then after completing intermediate in Machilipatnam, then I had a MCET exam. and then I got admission in VR Siddhartha Engineering College in Vijayawada. So
That means you fared pretty well in the MSET exam. Only then you probably got a seat in the VR Siddhartha Engineering College, right?
yeah, when I was in a school, when I focused more on academics, and also I participated a lot of sports in school. And when I was when I was in the boarding school, so my focus, I know, if I don't focus on my studies, then my career, would be not in a good shape. So I had focused on especially science, mathematics, and physics, and chemistry.
Was there any guidance? Like, say, did somebody tell you that, hey, son, you have to focus on this science to make a good living?
Yeah, there were teachers in Heine Elementary School and high school. The teachers there were very good teachers, and they were telling, focus on, mathematics or science fields. And they also said, any field could give you, a better career, but learn what you interested in, focus more on the science field.
So essentially, you're saying teachers have helped you.
Mhm.
But in general, in a normal, setup, parents are the ones who actually influence more. Of course, teachers do influence. I mean, but I have not heard many stories where people have been successful like you just by listening to teachers, right? But parents are more driving forces in this aspect. But in your case, there were nobody else but the teachers who actually has guided you, and then you. And the fun part is the serious part, or not, I don't want to say fun part, but the interesting aspect is that you listen to the teachers.
Yeah, the teachers were great, and also at the hostel after the school.
Wonderful. I hope I will be able to stop my tears coming out of my eyes listening to your story. So it's a good inspirational story, of course. That's so so you finished your intermediate,
Mhm.
right? And I also understand that you were a very good cricket player back then.
Mhm.
So what made you to jump into the cricket, and then were you able to manage both studies and cricket together? Uh,
Yes, right. The place that I grew up in, Machilipatnam, so there were facilities like in boarding school. They used to give, cricket equipment or all sports equipment, but we didn't have that much facilities back in 2002. So the IPL was introduced in 2007 or 8. So that's when, where we see much improvement in cricket facilities in India. So that time, we were just participating. I was just participating in a school competitions, where the inter-school competitions, and I won a trophy, so we were the winners when I was in ninth grade. We were the winners in Krishna district, the cricket champions. I think it was held by some police corporation or someone at the police grounds. So we won. I think it was maybe just local to Machilipatnam schools or some other schools. So I knew that we were definitely lack of some facilities, but I always a little passionate about playing cricket. And then after I got into VR Siddhartha Engineering College, where I see more facilities, where you see like a green field ground, and you see the wicket, real turf where you put the mat on. And we had some quality facilities in Siddhartha, and there is the PE, physical trainer or coach, we call Nani sir. So I had the facilities. Then I had a better cricketers already represented under 19 for Andhra. So we were playing together for college, and we won many titles. So we won Inadu champion.
Okay.
When
Were you like under 19 champion, or you just played with the under 19 champion?
when I was there in Siddhartha college, there were already some under 19 players
Okay.
so in the
So
team.
you didn't had any special training in cricket.
I
to
know.
go?
I never had any special training since I was a kid. So I just learned by like watching on TV,
Okay.
taking inspiration, like from Sachin Tendulkar, Saurabh Ganguly,
Okay.
Dravid.
So by doing self-learning, you also became a minor league player in United States,
Yeah.
right? You looks like you have played several games here in a minor league cricket,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So let's go back to that. So what made you to come to America? I mean, I know you just talked about your background and all that stuff. Staying in Mangalgiri, studying in Machilipatnam and all that stuff, Machilipatnam to Mississippi or Mangalgiri to Mississippi, it's a big dream, right? It's a long dream which has lot of financial responsibilities, which has lot of other responsibilities. How did you end up here?
Yeah, so yeah, I would cover previous question too, like why I choose like in academics over sports over cricket. So I was also like focusing more on academics. I got a distinction in engineering, first class with distinction from Azure and Nagarjuna University. So I see that like if I choose the cricket, like definitely there will be a future, but IPL just started, so I didn't know that like the cricket will improve that much in India that quicker. But I know like my best shot at academics because I'm already good at like science field. So if I can stretch a little bit, then I can get the admission in the US and complete my master. But to get here, I know there were a lot of challenges. I know I didn't have any support, but I just believe like so somewhere like I had to find like even my friends, some of my aunt are boarding school, like people like always like try to give some money, even my brother whenever he can. So I just collected some money so like to complete my undergrad in India and also to get here. So I know if I can go and get the master's degree, then I will have a better opportunities in science field. And then I was keep applying actually. So I was still focusing after I graduate from Siddhartha and Acharya Nagarjuna University. So I took a little time, 6 months, where like I was trying to find all my like how I can afford the tuition fee and all that. But luckily, I got all the scholarships in the universities where I started in the University of Mississippi. I got a scholarship, and also New Mexico Highlands University. I got a full scholarship, so that helped me, like not at a financial, but it helped me to focus more on the studies, like rather than the financial.
Oh, good, good. So, so you came from there to Mississippi,
University of Mississippi, yeah,
University
Mississippi
of
State.
Mississippi. Okay. So, what did you do here? Like, what course did you do here?
Yeah, when I got to University of Mississippi, my major was electrical engineering because in undergrad my specialization electronics and instrumentation engineering. So I after I came to United States, I see there is like more opportunities in computer science field rather than electrical. So I had two options. So I was little interested even in a computer science, and also I had already the fundamentals in electrical engineering. So I had to make a decision again which one to choose, like stay in electrical or stay in a computer science. So if I choose any of it, like both have equal opportunities, but I see like I want to like study like more innovative technologies, where I see in computer science the time the advisors, they were all saying like machine learning was good. Yeah, it would be future now, like after 15 years I see all artificial intelligence and machine learning leading the industry. So 15 years back they were saying. So based on my advisors, like at the Mississippi or New Mexico Highland, then I decided to choose computer science, and then I transferred to New Mexico Highlands where I got admission already. So when I was in India, I got admission in University of Mississippi, New Mexico Island. So they still kept the admission. So it made me easy to transfer from Mississippi to New Mexico Islands, to continue my master's degree in computer science. And after I went to New Mexico Highlands University, so my advisor, Dr. Hussein Tahani, he was another key person, which who helped me, he always used to say that focus more on machine learning and artificial intelligence. This would be a future. So I was at that time people were more in databases like Teradata or programming languages, but I didn't see much growth in artificial intelligence and machine learning. But what he said like 15 years back, what we see now, the artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, and then I ended up with a 3.91 GPA out of 4 in my master's degree. Then I started my career working in a real.
Good, good. So I also know that, and like in my introduction, you have written a lot of journals, you have written a lot of papers. You also published books. I think two books you did. One was Azure cloud computing. Um, what was the motive? What was the idea in writing a book? How did you even find time to write a book?
Yeah, so what made me to write the book? So when I was learning the cloud computing, I see a hurdle, like a struggle, where to get the source, how these cloud computing work, and how do I get a certification exam. Then I see finding the source, information about this cloud computing, about Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform. So I struggle a little bit. I spend a lot of time to collect the information and to study that, and then get the exams, pass mark. And then I came up with a plan. Okay, so now let me make a book. So it will help the community, the people. It makes their life easy, so they can just go to book and then read entire information at one place, and then go to exam and get the certification. So that was my goal when I started. And at the same time that I started some YouTube channels also, where I started giving a tutorial to. I started with my friends. I was just giving them the knowledge. If you see a couple of my videos, like first 3 4, I was just giving this knowledge to my friends. Where there were like 10 people, I was telling them what is this cloud computing, how does it work, and how will it help you guys. I was telling them this would be the future for next 10 to 15 years, so you should learn this. And then I
Did they
started.
pass the exam?
Yeah, some of the people
Okay.
they got a good job too, and
Okay.
they focus. And some of them still because this cloud computing is keep growing. So once you started, you gotta keep learning it, because it was Amazon Web Services, the major cloud service provider back in 2019, and Microsoft was just picking. But after 2 3 years, I see Microsoft, Amazon, they are already leading. Then GCP picked up in 2021 or 2022. Now we see these three are leading provider. So when if people come and look at it, I want to get it on Google Cloud. How does it work? So they can just go to channel. I used to receive a lot of requests on YouTube and LinkedIn. How do I take the exam, or how do I learn cloud computing? And I had messages received from the people that thanks for helping us to pass the exam to learn the cloud computing. I used to receive a lot of responses from my friends.
So if for my viewers, would you be, do you mind telling them, one, the name of your book, two, your YouTube subscription? How do they get to the YouTube subscription? And then your LinkedIn if they have to reach out to? to you?
Yeah, sure. So my books available on Amazon Kindle. I just like if you have a Kindle subscription, it's free. Even though if you don't have it, it's just I think $3 or $4 where I put a minimum price. Like I see same books like about like 30 or $40, but it's the same information I put. The first book is Azure fundamentals, that is it will help you to pass Azure 900 exam, so all the key concepts there. So I try to put as much as information I can and limit the content and make it like short, whatever you needed to pass those exams. And the next one is like Azure top interview questions. Like a lot of people struggle even if you get the certification, even if you have the right skill to get the job. But I see like I used to receive a request from people on LinkedIn, on my YouTube. So how do we prepare for the interview? What kind of scenarios or questions we expect in an interview? So for that, like I have Azure top interview questions for Azure administrators, architect or developers. The book called Azure top interview questions, Azure admin, architect, and developer. So that is also available in Amazon Kindle. The first book published in 2021, and the second book, AC 900 book, published in 2023 in Amazon. Both are like very. I put a minimal price according to the Amazon's standards. So if you have Kindle subscription, it's a free.
Thank you. So I do see that you have published a lot of books, and in 2024, I think your publications were appreciated 80% more than the existing publications, right? What do you have to say about that? And what was that also, number one? And number two, what was that publications around? Can you help us, help my viewers understand what those publications were?
Yeah, the publications that I had some papers that I prepared like past 4 years. I published little late, like some of the papers. The papers about cloud computing, overall cloud computing, and one paper about comparison. So right now there are like multiple cloud service providers. Like you have Amazon, you have Microsoft, Google, IBM, Alibaba. There are many other cloud providers. One of the paper tells who are the leading cloud service providers: Amazon, Microsoft, GCP, and which one to choose. Like a lot of companies, lot of businesses, they have like multiple questions. Like which service provider we have to choose. Like, a lot of customers 5 years back, they were still at on-premise. They host all their data in their data centers. When they go first time out of their data center and they want to host their data in some other cloud service center, so they had all the questions. But when what I mentioned in my paper, these are the leading cloud service providers: Amazon, Microsoft, Google. Then which one to choose? Should I choose Amazon? Should I choose Microsoft? Should I choose Google? This is not for like individual. This is, I'm talking about the businesses, like who like have like you know thousands of customers, who has like millions of business. So they all have these questions. They know what's cloud computing. Like that I wrote one paper. I think there are many researchers, they already published, but my papers tells like help them what is the cloud computing. And second paper, oh, who are the leading? Oh, if you look at my paper, you can see that okay, we can choose Amazon because our requirement is this. We can choose Microsoft, our requirement is this. So based on the business organization's requirement, they can choose like that I mentioned in one of my paper. And like there are many papers that I one of the papers tells security. When you are going out of your data center, then you may have a lot of questions. I'm just going to host my data in another data center. What about the security? You see, like there are attackers everywhere. Everyone wants to like steal your data, not even from United States, but all over the world.
Right.
So people can steal the information. The security, how the cloud providers secure this data center, and how you can choose your service, like based on your cost estimate, based on your preferences. And the other, like 3 4 papers that I mentioned about, like artificial intelligence and machine learning. So right now everyone is using AI and ML, but what cloud service providers offers? Amazon offers what kind of services? Amazon offers ML and AI, and Microsoft offers, and then Google offers. So if you look at, I wrote like individual paper, like Amazon AI and ML services. Then how do you take advantage of those services? How does it benefit to your business? So
I have a question here. Sorry to interrupt, Praveen. So I know that lot of companies, when it started, the whole, the evolution, the revolution of this cloud computing started. People, just started jumping onto the boat. But then recently, you probably also remember that Amazon had a blackout, and that was a big blackout, right? So, in your books, have you considered that? Have you put anything around that? Like, um, if there is a blackout, and what, and that blackout has actually made some companies lose the confidence, right? And what I understand nowadays is they are also going to hybrid cloud, right? I mean, you will also have a Amazon cloud and then also maybe Google or Azure, right? Hybrid. So you will have some data centers there, some data centers here. Is that kind of concept included in your papers, or what is your take on that?
so you mean the, like, what if data centers down, then
Yeah,
your
yeah.
business is down, then you
Correct,
don't
correct. Yeah,
earn
yeah.
anything.
Amazon, if I put everything in Amazon, Amazon already
Yeah,
had a
right,
blackout,
right,
right?
right.
So,
So yeah, so the what how these cloud service providers work, you can still, like they have a data centers all over the world. So I did mention back in 2020 on my YouTube channel, and also I did mention in my books and papers too. So they are building, like many data centers every year. All these Amazon, Microsoft, Google, they're announcing the new data center. So when you host your data, example, you choose a one region. So you choose the Central America. So all your data there. Then when the Central America is down, based on, like maybe a natural disaster or tornado or something, like maybe if you host, like in East, there may be hurricane. So and your data center is down, then I see definitely there is a downtime business. But these cloud providers, they work hard to bring that back. And also you have option to choose a secondary region. So you keep your primary in Central America, and you choose your secondary in 300 miles away, a different region. Because how the region works, like I'm talking about Microsoft, they build one region they call Central US. And if you host your secondary in East US, that means at least 300 miles away. So that means you can still access, like all your data or whatever resources you have in the data center, you can access from your secondary point.
okay, okay. Um, so that's a good information around your cloud technologies and cloud knowledge. Really appreciate that. Besides all that, enough of technology talk, and to prove your technology talk, you have already published a lot of papers. You're doing YouTube, which is so you're not just working towards your progress, but you're also trying to help the community by doing a YouTube trainings and all that stuff, right? That is really good, and we really appreciate that from our channel point, and or from our subscribers also. And I also understand that you have a pretty decent number of subscribers in your YouTube channel. I hope that grows quite a bit, and a lot of people make use of your knowledge and all that stuff. So let's talk about some more personal stuff, right? What do you do when you have a free time besides writing books, YouTube, and of course playing cricket, and your regular work, and taking care of one wife and 2 kids? What do you do besides that? Any hobbies?
Besides that, I like to take my son out. So there is some the city built some entertainment center, and my son he likes the parks. Here we have Six Flags. Back in Florida, we had Universal Studios Disney. So I take him to those parks, and I watch some movies. And also, if I get some time, I just want to go around the city and see what are the development, and where I can choose investment, because there is a lot of development in every city. So I try to go around the city. If I get chance, I watch a couple of movies if I have time. But due to this doctorate program, YouTube with the kids, and playing cricket, so right now it's occupied. But if I get a time, I would do this. So
Okay. So, going back to your childhood and where you are today, if there is one thing you would want to change when you were growing up, what would it be?
could you repeat that?
So going back to your back childhood, right? If there is one thing that you think it shouldn't have happened like this, it should have happened differently, or if you were given a chance, is there anything that you think you would want to do it differently?
So I had some dreams, back home, my goal was. So I was thinking coming to US, but so my other goal, I wanted to serve in Indian Navy or Indian Army or Air Force. I did try, but I didn't have facilities like I mentioned, like in Machli, but no. So if I had that, I would. I
You would
would
have
be
gone. You would have gone
to
to
Indian Navy or
Indian
Air
Defense.
Force. Yeah, Indian Navy.
Okay.
And Chiranjeevi's action is too good, dance,
Okay. Good.
and
Good.
everyone has a unique style. Every actor, so
Okay.
that's why I said all actors are good.
Okay.
and it's all good.
Okay. So now coming to the politics, which has been a current burning topics these days, especially the Andhra politics, and of course the Telangana politics also, right? So what is your take in today's politics?
The politics when it comes to India, or Andhra. So what I hope, whoever comes into power, focus on the facilities, build the infrastructure, give something to the community, help them to build their career. So that is the approach they should take, whoever the
Do you
government.
think so? What is your confidence in today's government, the Kutami government, which has formed between with Kutami, as in collaborating the TDP, Janasena, and BJP? What is your take? Do you have
Yeah.
confidence that they will really do what they have promised to the people?
I don't have much, much knowledge on current scenarios, but I want to tell one thing about the Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu. When I was a kid, when I was in the ninth grade, so the Andhra hosted the national game. So there were the people first time they had about. Now I know national games happen every year, but the Chandrababu hosted like a he hosted like grand style where he built the facilities like Gachibowli, and on top of that he provided a bus facility. Like I was a ninth grade, right? So we had a bus that took us to Hyderabad, and we there was a guide assigned to us. So he was taking us to all sports where these national events happening, and then also after that there was the Afro Asian game. So that's why I like the style he chose back in 2002 or 2003. I think if I remember, I think it was 2003 where we had massive national games hosted in Andhra Pradesh. Since then, I didn't see much advertisement on national games. So the way he focused help the kids to aim for the big in the sport.
So from what I'm hearing, you're a big fan of Chandrababu Naidu.
It's not fan of Chandrababu.
I
Like,
mean, you
know,
believe in him. Let's put it
because
there. You believe
the
in him.
first time I got to know his programs, Janmabhoomi Clean and Green, so they all help the
Gotcha.
community.
Yeah.
Even like the Rajshekar Reddy, he helped like
Good,
the
good.
farmers like where he used to
Okay.
clear their loans. So like both are good.
Okay. Okay. All right. So last question, Mr. Praveen. What is the suggestion for the young kids today in America and back in India who has everything they need, but yet they have this new concept called depression, frustration, and whatnot, and not thinking much about their career, their lives, and all that stuff. What is your guidance or suggestion for them?
Yeah, so my suggestion to all the youngsters or who is graduating from the college or even in the schools, people who didn't have good facilities. So I wanted to tell them that it's not about like it was my case. It did work, but it should work for everyone. So trust your ability. So if you want to do it something, keep working on it. So it may take sometimes. Some people gets in like in a month, some people like 1 year, but like some people takes like years, but keep working on what you want. Like if you want to be like become an engineer or a doctor, or if you want to be a athlete, keep working on it. I still remember I had many days like where I didn't have a single penny in my pocket. I used to like walk like from one place to one place. This is true, but like I never lost hope. There are like people they criticize. Obviously, who criticizes, and you don't take them like like a bad, because they are really helping. They are motivating. So I had a lot of critics. Whenever I meet them, I know they always say a negative, but I took that as a positive. If someone says, "Oh, you can't do it," then that means they know that you are able to do it. Somehow, like they're trying to stop you. So I had that scenarios, many scenarios. Even in engineering, I heard people saying you cannot study engineering because you can't afford it. I see people like they said no, you cannot go out of this Vijayawada because you have nothing. So they were right. I had nothing, but I wanted to tell like there are people to help you and take those opportunities. And in my case, I think there are Venkatesh Prasad, I forgot to mention. He did help me like when I was graduated, and then trying to like choose my like the university, where should I go. The moral support, I had people about 10 to 20 people where they said you had nothing, so they were right. I had nothing. I didn't have a single penny. But I had one person said, he didn't say anything. The Venkat sir, he just said, yeah, just apply. And when you get admission, just go to interviews. And also he said like, apply for scholarship. So there were like, hope. Eh, you can see like 20 doors closed, but there is obviously one door open. But never like disappoint yourself. Keep trust your ability, keep working on it, and then you get where you want.
Well, this is the best message so far I have had in my programs, and I really, really greatly appreciate your presence in our program. And in my studio in Dallas, Texas, we're still trying to build this studio. But from Prime9 viewers and from Prime9 leadership, I greatly appreciate your presence, Praveen, and really, really appreciate.
Thank